a seat and open your ears. Let me tell you the legend of the legendary slayer of beasties. In the kingdom of Hagnale, there be a slayer of beasts, one that has been trying to make a name for himself, though despite his efforts, has yet to slay a beast, for a tale to be told throughout the land. 'Twas a fine day in a small town this beast slayer had held up in, when all of a sudden he was attacked by a fierce and ferocious beastie. This beast is one of legend. Many adventurers turned into blubbering wrecks, or met their end, as they are far too weak to handle such a creature. The creature has a giant body, long scale-like armor, and eyes that can pierce the soul. For those who look into them, it's like going to hell and back. This beast left many a body burned in its way, and you might have guessed this beastie's a dragon, the kings of their realm, the demons of the sky. This dragon tore through the town, setting it ablaze. The screams of the townfolk could be heard echoing throughout the land. Many adventurers tried to battle the beastie, but it rose his body up high, looking like a majestic being, towering tall above them all. The adventurers could feel their hearts filling with fear, the one thing that can either keep you alive or sap the strength for you at that crucial moment. These brave souls faced this beast. They knew in an instant that his next breath would be their last. They were doomed to become charred corpses on the ground as it stomped through the streets. The dragon opened its mouth. The glow of oncoming flames could be seen from the back of its throat, getting brighter and brighter. A roaring sound grew louder as the dragon tilted its head, looking at those beneath it. As the beast's gaze met with the adventurers still standing their ground, several of these warriors were overcome with fear to the point they dropped their weapons, began to turn and flee. One fell to their knees and began to crawl backwards, unable to turn away from the final moments watching the dragon's eyes. The feller even wet his pants. 'Twas in the final moments when the dragon started to fire the flames from its mouth wide open. Something hit it hard in the side of the head, taking the beastie and adventurers by surprise. The beast closed its mouth and turned its head. There was a loud thud on the ground in the middle of the shocked warriors. All of them turned their heads in unison, as the look on their face was one of sheer disbelief. Standing there, not looking scared of this giant creature, was an adventurer who was not well known, his body shaking. It wasn't until their gaze met the face of this feller that they realized from the expression he had, his body wasn't shaking from fear, rather in complete and utter excitement. The adventurer was one of those rare fighters who were known as a battle junkie, those who get excited at fighting opponents who are as strong, if not stronger than them, testing their limits and their skills. They couldn't believe someone was facing this legendary beast, and instead of fleeing or counting their last moments, before certain doom, this unknown adventurer had a glint in his eyes. All of a sudden, the beastie let out a giant roar to enter strike this new foe. The adventurer tilted his head forward as a smirk formed on his face. His hand tightened around the cold metal of the spear he was carrying. His body arched for a split second before he let out a battle cry and leapt towards the dragon and hit it with an almighty slash of his spear. The dragon flinched and recoiled in surprise as the spear managed to pierce the scales of its face, leaving a scar across the eye. This infuriated the creature. The look it gave the adventurer was one of sheer murderous intent, a stare that could haunt a man till the end of his days. The adventurers who were on the ground managed to pull themselves together, making a hasty retreat, also not being able to take their eyes away from this battle. It was not a normal sight, seeing a group handling a dragon, let alone a man taking the beast on his own, having the upper hand in fact. This fellow was relentless in his attacks against the beastie, dodging by a hair's breadth the attacks from the dragon. If he was hit, it was only a minor flesh wound, far from anything lethal or that could inhibit his movements. This brave soul would have a few scars on him, but in terms of the battle, it was the dragon that was faring worse. The furious onslaught from the spear-wielding battle junkie left the dragon wanting to retreat. However, flight was not an option. The spear had tore through the wings, slicing and dicing them, making it impossible for this creature to fly away. In a last desperate effort from the dragon, raised his head up high, ready to fire a full blast of its breath, aiming to incinerate the area around it. Fortunately, This was the biggest mistake this foul, wretched creature could make. You see, the dragon had exposed its soft underbelly to its opponent, and just as it was about to fire, that fella thrust the spear deep into the bowels of the beast. With a mighty swing, slashed open the beast, and with an almighty crash, the ground shook as the beast's body hit, slain by this man. The other adventurers looked on in disbelief, amazed at the fact a single man took down a beast of legend as mighty as a dragon. As shock settled in, one of them asked the man his name, to which the man replied, Erronfold Banesworth. And that's how the legend of good old Erronfold came to be. Har. Hey guys, since it's December, it's Christmas, it's the month of giving, I got a surprise for you all. We now have a store! You can get the artwork of Erronfold Banesworth, Nexum, Dino Dinoclaw, the Helmon, and a few of the other characters from the channel, as well as some of the older artwork. Be sure to check that out. There'll be a link in the description, and I'll put a link to the artwork for this one in the comments. It should be there by the time you get to see this video. Stay safe, everybody. Catch you next time.
Like and subscribe.